It's 1 p.m. I haven't washed my face yet. It's just one of them days. I haven't posted a video in over a month now, and I think I filmed 3 videos already. I just need to edit them, and because I'm a yapper, they're long to edit, and I also don't have time to edit. So this video is meant to just be short. So without any further ado, hello, my name is Vero, this is Vero Reads, and today I will be doing the Spring is in the Air book tag. It's originally created by Daniela at Uncommon Reader and Renee at Beyond Books. But I learned about it from Charlotte's Coney Reads latest video. She did it on her channel, and it sounded nice, it sounded easy, and I've been meaning to do a spring book related video, but I still haven't. So this is it. There you go. So I have my questions here. The first question is Spring Chicks. Name a book that made you feel... It would be so much easier to edit stuff if I didn't stumble over my words and if I knew how to speak English, you know? But anyway, first question is Spring Chicks. Name a book that made you feel warm and fuzzy. And for that, I want to say Home Office Romance by Kintetsu Yamada. It's a graphic novel. It's so cute. Literally, warm and fuzzy is the center of that book. The premises are that 2 neighbors, they share a wall, but there is 2 different studio apartments. They're both in lockdown and they both need to have a home office. They need to work from home. But they kind of share a balcony, like their balconies are one next to the other, and so they start to develop a friendship and a connection during the lockdown through just constantly being at home and being next to each other. It's so funny, amazing one-liners that I still think about to this day, and I read this like a few months ago. Highly recommended, especially if you want something short, cozy, and warm. The second question is April Showers. A book that is set near, in, or on the water, or that has the word water in the title. Oh, who's writing to me? I forgot to put Do Not Disturb on. I am so grumpy today. You have no idea. But I'm hoping this video is spring themed, joy, renewal, rebirth. I'm hoping it will set me straight, and after this I'm gonna have my 3rd cup of tea and I'm gonna eat lunch, and so I think that will rejuvenate me. So a book about near water, The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. Young adult novel, historical. I don't usually read young adults. Especially more recent ones. I just don't like how they're written. I don't like how they talk down to kids as if they're dumb a lot of the times. This book doesn't. It is meant to be read by teenagers. So the language is accessible, the themes are accessible, the character arc is a bit plain, but it deals with emotions in a way that's really how a young adult is supposed to be, in my opinion, and that is deep but accessible, and it teaches emotional intelligence. Even though it's talking about a fantastical romp through the Mediterranean Sea. I think it's Mediterranean, maybe it's Aegean. I don't know geography, but I know what an oxbow lake is, not through geography, but through Dan and Phil constantly mentioning it in their videos. Tangent. Number 3, Spring Break. Talk about a time you took a break from reading and why. I constantly take breaks from reading. For a long time after I left secondary school, I could not read anything because I was working full time, and it's really hard for me to read when I'm working full time, and I'm just too exhausted mentally, physically. It's just I don't have enough spoons in a week to work full time and also have a life. So for a long time I was not reading. I was reading maybe like a book a year, even though I'm an avid reader. So that was the longest break. Then we had the lockdown, and since the lockdown, because I was not working full time, I had to stay indoors. I realized that I didn't stop loving reading. I was still a reader. I just cannot function properly as a human being working full time. But then the lockdown opened up way too early, but it opened up and I went back to work full time. And so I stopped reading again. But then I did a lifestyle change. I moved cities and I found a job that would allow me to work and, pay my bills, but also have time to have my energy back. And so I'm reading. And also this new job is in a bookstore. I don't personally work as a bookseller, but I work as a barista in a bookshop. So best of two worlds, because I am surrounded by books and by readers, but I don't have to sell books I don't like to people. So perfect. But yeah, so being around readers and being in a bookshop and also not having to work 50 hours a week really helped me to go back into reading. Number 4, Swallow's Homecoming. And the question is, a book or an author you always go back to for comfort? Okay, so easy answer, Jane Austen. Unfortunately, easy answer, Jane Austen. I feel like that's so basic, but it's one of those, she's one of those authors where I know that if I reread her books, I will find something new and exciting, but also comfortable, which is my, that's the criteria for a comfort author for me. I need to be comfortable with the story, but there needs to always be something else that I find every time I read it. Number 5, Blooms. A book that started slowly but blossomed to be one of your favorite reads. I can give a lot of answers for this one, but again, let's keep it recent. The most recent one, I want to say, it's not really springtime related, but I feel like it's a really great and really important book to read now, and that is Frankenstein in Baghdad by Ahmed Sadawi. That is such a great book. It does start a bit, it doesn't even start slowly, but it starts in a way that you're like, what is happening? What is this book actually? It's the story, it's set in Baghdad in 2005, so 2 years after the US occupation of Iraq. I wrote a review on that. I will find you my review, because it is a complex book. It is like an actual, like, really complex book, and I just want to give it justice. I hope it conveys what I'm trying to convey. 20 years have passed since the events narrated in Frankenstein in Baghdad. 20 years since Hadi the junk dealer was telling us the story of how he was scouring the streets of a city fractured and butchered by the US invasion of Iraq, to gather the discarded body parts of victims of bombings and military violence and sew them together as a whole grotesque body, ready to be finally buried, mourned, or at least acknowledged. When Hadi finally completes his patched-up corpse, he finds his work and its existence haven't added any meaning to the incessant violence that lingers on every street corner and in every daily interactions between the cast of residents in his neighborhood. He is ready to discard and forget this body, much like the parts it was made up of, when he discovers that it has come to life. Lost and purposeless, like all the other characters that we meet in the novel, the creature, ironically baptized What's Its Name, realizes the only way he can survive is by pursuing a vague sense of retribution against the people who made him what he is. This pursuit of an unreachable justice is what will keep him on the never-ending cycle of senseless violence from whence he was born. Why, after 20 years and countless wars started and then forgotten, should we let Hadi the liar tell us this story of detached grief and horrifying hilarity? Why should we listen to him spun a fable where magical realism is used to ground and materialize a reality that's too absurd in its inhumanity? The reason, of course, is that history keeps on repeating itself. And to understand our present, we must once again listen to our past. So you should really read this book because it's relevant. Once again, we have US influence on Middle Eastern region that is bringing bouts of violence and death to a people that's unable to defend itself. So it is relevant and it is a great book, well written. So please read it. Number 6, Eggs in a Basket. 3 books you want to read this spring. Okay, I don't do TBRs. I'm such a mood reader. If I do a TBR, I shall not read those books on the TBR. But I have a library card and I have 3 books that have come from the library that were on hold. We have Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This is a West African classic. Okonkwo is the greatest warrior alive. His fame has spread like a bushfire in West Africa, and he is one of the most powerful men of his clan. But he also has a fiery temper. Determined not to be like his father, he refuses to show weakness to anyone, even if the only way he can master his feelings is with his fists. When outsiders threaten the traditions of his clan, Okonkwo takes violent action. Will the great man's dangerous pride eventually destroy him? Then I have Forest of Noise by Mozab Abu Toha, which is a poetry collection. I'm getting into poetry this year, and is by a Palestinian author, and it talks about life in Gaza. I've just read this book by Plestia Alakad. You might know her from Instagram because she is a journalist a Palestinian journalist that reported on the occupation in Gaza. And I just need to, And then I have Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You? I've tried to read 2 different Sally Rooney books and I didn't like either of them. I DNF'd them. But she's beloved. I don't know if I'll read this. Why do people like Sally Rooney? Can somebody... I tried looking for an answer. Is it just because it's not my thing? Or am I reading it wrong? That's always my question. So if you have an answer of why I should like Sally Rooney, how should I read it? In what key should I read it? Because whenever I read it, it's just so... So yeah. Number 7, Green Pastures. A classic that never gets old. Do I have it here? Yes. The Metamorphoses by Franz Kafka. I reread this almost every day. Oh, every day, not every day. I'm not that much of a fan. I reread it almost every year. And every time I read it, I find something new to focus on. And it's so relevant, so modern. I think I've spoken about it in a bunch of other videos because I do believe that this is now my favorite book. For the longest time, it was Jane Eyre. Growing up, Jane Eyre was my favorite book. I think now it's The Metamorphoses. That's how you know that I'm old, because from Jane Eyre I went to The Metamorphoses. So yeah, I highly recommend it. Please read it. Number 8, Pollen. A book or author you're allergic to. I think it's Agatha Christie. I can't. There are a lot of, like, I've tried to read a lot of murder mysteries, a lot of detective novels, and a lot of them I don't like. But then there are some of them that I really, really, really enjoy. Agatha Christie, I don't like. Even though I love Agatha Christie adaptations. I love the Poirot TV show. I love some of the movie adaptations. And I love how she influenced the genre. But the actual books, I haven't read all of them. If you have a good Agatha Christie book to recommend, please do. I will keep trying, but... bonus question is Equinox. Find 2 books on your shelf that have the exact same number of pages and talk briefly about them. Okay, so the only ones I found on my actual shelf were these, and the vibes are so similar, but also quite different. So we have The Secret... So sorry. We have The Secrets of Hardwood Hall by Katie Lumsden, aka Books and Things, here on BookTube, which is a gothic historical novel. And then we have The Secrets of Blythewood Square by Sarah Sheridan. I need to check out if this author has written anything else, because I love these books to pieces. And again, a historical novel. This is set in England, I want to say Victorian era, and I think this is Victorian era too, but Edinburgh. This is not gothic. It's more, I don't even know. It's quite gender defying. Oh, Glasgow, not Edinburgh, my bad. 1846. Glasgow is a city on the cusp of great social change, but behind the curtains, neighbours are watching and rumours of improper behaviour spread like wildfire on the respectable Blythewood Square. When Charlotte Nicol discovers that the fortune she has been bequeathed by her father is tied up in a secret collection of erotic art, she is faced with a terrible dilemma: sell it and risk shaming her family's good name, or lose her home. An encounter with Ellery McHale, a talented working-class photographer newly arrived in Glasgow, leads Charlotte to hope she has found not only someone who might help her, but also an unlikely friend. Yet Ellery is hiding secrets of her own, secrets that become harder to conceal as she finds herself drawn into Charlotte's world. As the truth begins to catch up with both women, will it destroy everything they fought to build, or set them both free? Now I want to reread it. This is such a great book. This is juicy. This is like the characters are so vivid. There's great there's great world building. You are there in Glasgow 1846 and you are with Charlotte, and her problems are your problems, and then you're with all the other side characters, because there's a couple of side characters, and their problems are your problems, and you're like, oh my god, what the heck are we gonna do, man? What are we gonna do? This is crazy. We cannot go into public society now. Like, what's happening? So great. If you wish that Bridgerton was actually historically accurate, read this book. Read it. And then we have The Secrets of Hardwood Hall. Amazing. The vibe, the atmosphere, the characters. If you love Jane Eyre, read this book. The vibes are the same. When I was reading it, I knew who wrote it. Like, I watched her here on YouTube, and I was like, why is this like reading a Victorian novel? What? Like, how do you do that? You are in the modern era. How can you write that? And it's so good. It's so good. Again, full of intrigue. This is the classic gothic atmosphere of, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, Northanger Abbey, the Castle of Otranto, like those really gothic novels where the atmosphere keeps you on your toes the whole time. You're like, I know ghosts don't exist in this novel, but why am I scared? So this is this novel. And also, final plot twist. Damn. I have, where is it? The Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery Hearst. And because I loved The Secrets of Heartwood Hall so much, I still haven't read this. I was on the pre-order list for this. I pre-ordered this. I was one of the first people to get it when it came out, and I still haven't read it because when I read it, it's finished, you know. I will read it this summer, but I'm anticipating it too much. But I will read it soon. But then it's over because my messed up brain is like, I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait for the next book that Katie Lansden publishes to be out to read this. So then I will have something else. This is how my brain is as a reader, messed up. I'll put it away later. This was the Spring is in the Air tag. Thanks again to Daniela and to Renee for coming up with this tag. I will link them down below. I will also link Charlotte, and I tag everybody who wants to be tagged. I don't know enough people on the internet to actually tag people, so I tag everybody. There you go. Have a good one. Bye bye. I'm gonna go eat lunch.